There's this young sister that posted something I would call a cautionary tale. Now, this young sister, she went to college and, she was dating, a young guy, a white guy. And, some things started to happen and it really opened her eyes, to him. And you see, George Floyd had really, it opened up the floodgates on a whole lot of things, right? Things that they couldn't keep hidden anymore. And I want you to watch this video. I'm letting her, explain it. Oh, this is all for TikTok in its entirety. What happened with this situation? It's kind of, disgusting too. Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
A little background, I've known him for 5 years. I've been out in California for the past 4 years, going to college, getting my degree. I recently moved back and I reconnected with him and we started hanging out a lot. I would just go over his house, we would chill, watch movies, drink, just hang out. Everybody's saying there must have been signs or she had to know he was racist. No, there weren't, and no, I didn't. If I knew he was racist, I would not be talking to him or hanging out with him.
Honestly, if it weren't for those texts, I would have never known he was racist, just because he hid it so well.
So the night I found out he was racist was the day after Memorial Day. It was the day George Floyd's murder was broadcast all over social media. I was really upset about it, and when I went over to his house that night, I was venting about it. That led us to get into a debate about All Lives Matter versus Black Lives Matter. It's the debate he was referring to in the text messages that I posted. So during this debate, I was just explaining to him that Black Lives Matter too. Black lives are the ones being oppressed. We acknowledge that all lives matter, but we're just trying to get everybody to realize that Black lives matter as well as everybody else's lives. I got really frustrated with him and I basically told him to leave me alone. And he tried to make it up for me. He poured me to drink and we continued with our night. As we continued that night, we were drinking, listening to music on Spotify. He had given me his password because I was on the aux on his phone. So I did the thing where you double tap a person's phone to get all their apps up, and I saw the messages on his Twitter. So in my head, I'm just noted, I'm gonna go back to that later. So as the night progressed, we were drinking more and more. He was getting more and more drunk, and the more drunk he gets, the more angry he gets. And me and him got in an argument. Couldn't tell you what it was about because we were just both drunk, but I know he was being extremely rageful and he was throwing shit around the apartment, cussing, screaming my name. And then I went inside and I hid inside of his bathroom from him. He was yelling my name to come out, but he was really drunk and stumbling around. And I just hid in there for about 15 minutes and eventually he passed out. So when he passed out, I got out of the bathroom and I grabbed his phone and I went to the messages. So obviously I saw the first message from that night, and then I saw the messages from previous nights where he stated that he wanted to call me the N-word, his grandfather would have owned me and whipped me, and that he wanted to abuse me and make me another statistic. And it was just really hurtful because he was somebody that I genuinely cared for. I eventually left his apartment because I didn't feel safe anymore after seeing those messages. But I took his phone with me because I was still going through it. I just didn't want him to wake up and me still be there because I was actually genuinely afraid. So I went outside the apartment in my car and I just started going through his phone more just to see if there was more stuff he was saying about me or if there was just more stuff I could find, because I knew this was the last time I was going to talk to him. So I just wanted to see what I could find just to give myself some closure. So I didn't sleep that night at all. I had his phone from 2 to 5 a.m. maybe. And that's when I posted the tweet. It was around 5 a.m. He reached out to me around 8 a.m. saying he needed his phone and he could explain the whole conversation. I didn't think he was going to be up already, and I still had his phone. So at this point, I was trying to figure out how I would return his phone to him without seeing him. So I ended up just going back to his apartment and leaving his phone and the spare key he gave me in his parking spot. Alright, so just a few updates from after everything happened. He had reached out to me as soon as I left his house, blowing up my phone, just telling me this is serious, Tatum, I need you to call me. My family's in danger, people are threatening me, people are banging on my door, and I'm just I know it's serious. The words that you spoke about me are serious. Anyway, since then he's given me this BS apology. Didn't believe anything he said because I'm pretty sure he's a sociopath and a narcissist. I'm not exaggerating. I'm pretty sure I've seen him outside my house. He knows where I live now, and I never told him where I live, so that has had me scared for the past few weeks. I got a protective order against him that explains literally everything. The judge granted it, but then he contested it. So now we have to go to court.
So the man said that his, people would have owned her as a slave. That is definitely an eye opener for her, for sure. But we've seen over and over in this country that everything is all good until you deal with some real issues toward black people in that particular dating relationship. Okay. We have to listen. One thing as brothers, we know those men. We deal with them a lot more than any other group. Okay. And we telling you how these dudes get down and how they talk about black people or black women or how racist these dudes can be, oh no. And then what some of them do, they like I say, these brand new, community of black folks now, you thinking, oh, I'm just going to go out there and do this and that and the third. Then they show you at the end of the day what they really think about you. And see, when George Floyd was killed and then that reality of racism and white supremacy is in your face, that exposed him right then and there when he trying to have a debate with you about some all lives matter. And yes, this is happening in reverse too with black men that have been with white women, that they have the same conversation and then they come out with a clan hood too. Okay. It's happened many times. So it's not say just directed at her. It's happened on both sides. But the fact is, in America, and I'm not saying all, I'm not going to say all because you can't say all to anything. Okay. But in America, that particular relationship is going to be one you're going to have the most problems with, even statistically. I read the statistics on that. When it comes to the marriages, they have the highest divorce rate out of any pairing in America. That relationship right there, the highest. And I understand why. Because in black America, people going to be looking at you kind of funny with that relationship. And then in white America, they're going to be looking at you funny. And it's going to be pressure on both sides due to our history is where the pressure going to come from. I'm just being honest. They don't want they people with us. We saying some of our people will say, well, how can you be with them and all the things they could do, or they can flip on you and be racist. And then when something like this happens to this young sister, now the good thing is for her, at least he just said some things. He didn't act on something, because there's been situations where black women have been killed in these situations. Also, black men have been killed in these situations too. There was a story of a brother in the Denver area. His, Becky shot him and killed him, and she didn't even go to jail. They said, oh, it was a domestic violence situation. Possibly. We don't know. So we're not going to arrest her. OK, because this is the thing. As black people, they have a privilege in this country that we don't have. OK, I've talked to people who have been in relationships with black people, and they not a racist person. And if you're not dealing with one of them that's racist, you have to deal with the racist police. OK, pulling you over, asking that female, is she OK? Or even asking that dude what's going on, because they don't like to see that. See, that's another. So you're not going to deal with that in any other pairing. But when you deal with them, you're going to. That's the reality of America. I'm not here to tell you who to be with, whatever. That's not, you do you. I'm not telling you nothing. What I'm saying is certain relationships will cause you more problems than just dealing with regular relationships on a good day. And if you want to subject yourself to that, especially during this time period, you really want to subject yourself to that issue and problem, then that's on you. But I'm just putting it out there and let you know that you really need to think a little bit. You really need to think, because what if he would have went another route and started beating her or possibly killed her? You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, some people, do what they all these black brothers. Listen, you pick bad people. Just accept that. Just like you got some brothers that pick some bad people too. Not everybody's bad out here. And whether it's on whatever side it is, no matter, you don't go and pick somebody just because you're upset with some issues that happen within the community. That's not the reason you should pick anybody. Okay. And I've seen a lot of that online. Oh, well, we're gonna get this guy over here because, oh, they better than the brothers. I'm like, And now some of them don't like to tell it, but then they get abused and they get all these different things that happen to them, or racism that happen, but they keep real quiet about that. But I hope she learned her lesson with this situation. And like I said, it's just a cautionary tale. But leave me a comment, let me know think about the situation with this young sister, and I guess, she got we would call her N-word wake up call. I hope she take heed.